that we can do that. It's horrible to be treated in such an unjust way, and it has been to Jews, to Muslims, to gay people, ages. You know, I'm in an age group now that people, I've already stereotyped me out as old or something like that. You know, we label each other rather than love each other. And that's what I would say. Stop and just listen to each other.
Yes, that's so simple. Just listen to each other and accept one another, no matter what. Yes, that's really a good way to teach, to educate ourselves, and just to have empathy to one another, to try to understand what's going on. Even if we live in different situations, we can try something to bond to one another, to try to understand and to help. There is always a way to help, even if with words, with kindness, with a hug, with a smile. And just to educate ourselves, that's very important, and try to think with our own minds, and then to make our own decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, in our religions, we have separated it. You know, my religion is better than your religion. And I always say to people, what are you talking about? We're saying the same thing in a different language.
Yes.
I get feedback. No, that's not true. No, my club is better than your club.
That's really impossible to understand, but yes. Back to you. Have you ever visited a concentration camp?
I would love to go with you. I would love to go. I would love to. I've been, you know, I haven't. When I was in Europe a few years back, it was very strange. I was on the in France, and Frankfurt, Germany. A small concentration camp. It was the first one. I don't know the name of it. I just remember it was the only one I ever saw, and it was a visceral reaction. It was familiar to me. I felt it so strongly. I knew what that was, and it really had impact. And so the more I've read and studied all these different camps, first of all, I didn't know that there were hundreds and hundreds, I mean, maybe even thousands of these camps all over. You know, it wasn't just the major ones it's beyond my understanding or my mind that anybody could treat anybody that way. And we're having that in our own country with the migrant children who are suffering so terribly. But it was really, really awful, and it was a very small one. But I saw how demoralizing it was and cruel, and I can feel the ghosts of the people in there.
Yeah,
and that was, you know.
I've been several times to visit Auschwitz-Birkenau in Poland with students. It's just so horrible. It's horrible. I can't even describe it, because even if I go there each year, every time I just feel so much pain, so much horrible all around me, and it's very difficult to go there. Of course, then if one day you want to go there with me, it will be an honor to me to go there together, because it's important to be there also with someone that is close to you, so you don't feel alone, because it's very difficult to be there and to see a lot of things, just to question how was it possible, all that indifference. Yeah, it's really, really hard.
Really terrible. I had read a quote somewhere, and I thought, you know, who are these horrible monsters that do this? And there was some very wise psychologists. They weren't monsters. They were people just like you and I who did monstrous things.
Yes.
That scared me more than anything, because we're capable of following cruelty if we're guided in that direction. That really affected me.
That's right. Yeah, that's horrible. Just
horrible.
Yes. And another very important visit is just the secret annex in Amsterdam. Have you ever been there?
I was there that one time when the person who guided me through it was Miep Gies, who was Otto Frank's assistant.
Oh, yes.
So I met her on the outside of, this was when, of course, we could do that, there wasn't any pandemic, there was tourists everywhere. And she says, and I can understand how this amazing woman did not want to be called a hero. She says, and not anybody would do it. I don't think so. Helped hide 8 people in hiding all that time. She was an amazing human being, tiny little Austrian woman. And she met me with her husband, Jan. And she took my arm and we walked through the annex, and there were tourists everywhere. And she's saying, this is where Anna would sleep, and this is where they would all eat, and this is where Peter studied. And I could see people turning and looking at her going, and then she pointed to the ground and she said, this is where I found the diary. And she found it with Beth, who was, and when after they were, they all left, they ran up and scooped everything up. So Nick gathered everything together, and she said, this is where I found it. And the place where they said, well, who are you? She says, well, did you read the diary? I am Miep. And it was like being with a rock star. They just cried and hugged her and took her pictures, and it was quite an impactful to go through the annex with her.
I can't even imagine how you felt that day. Yeah.
It brought it alive, she was so amazing and so brave, so brave.
Yes, she's really, her story is a lesson to each of us, because what she did is just remarkable. Just so, she saved other lives, risking her own life. Yeah.
And the fact that she had such respect for Anne, the helpers wanted they wanted to read the diary and everything. And she said, no, I will put it away for Anne when she comes back from the camps. We don't read one word of it. She was very private. And had she read it, she would have destroyed it all, because her name was helping, and they could have all been in prison because she had such respect for this family that she loved so much. She didn't read it. So basically, she saved the diary of Anne Frank for the world.
Yes, absolutely. With everything that our world is facing right now, and also about the fact that each of us recently has to be at home, divided from one another. I know that many children, but not only, felt much closer to Anne Frank, even if we are in a different situation, of course. And how do you think that her words are still relevant today? And do you think that something changed from the past about people feel today the diary of Anne Frank and its important messages?
Yes, I feel that her words are who she is right now. And this is why I think what you're doing is so important, and getting the word out and showing who she is, because young people are realizing that they're in hiding in a way from a pandemic. Ironically, Otto Frank described that time as actually a beautiful time for him to be alone, because as a businessman, he never would have had that kind of time to be alone with them. So he looked at that as a gift. So I'd say that Anne is more important now because, first of all, she encourages young people, and I encourage everybody saying, keep diaries now, write journals. What is it like to be a teenager during this pandemic? Yeah. You can teach so many generations what is it like, and to experience what racism is, and to be part of protests, and to be sequestered and caught behind masks that you can't even show your face and smile. It's a whole different world. Very similar to what Anne Frank, she was in hiding for 2 years and 1 month. So I'd say encourage young people more than ever, write about how you feel about all of this.
Yes,
because it's going to help everybody.
I agree 100% with you, because Anne had the possibility to write in her own diary, but today we can make a lot of things to write in diaries, to write in letters, use Instagram, social
Blogs.
everything. We have got this very important possibility to speak up, to write about what we feel, about what we are experiencing. It's very, very important.
It's more creative than ever.
Yes,
a lot of ways.
absolutely. Yes. We are almost finishing the interview. I'm very,
Okay.
very sorry, because I will talk with you all day.
I know.
You have got so many things to tell us, and I am so much happy just to listen to you talk about it. If you could tell something today to Otto, to Edith, to Margot, to Anne, and to Buddy, what would it be?
Haven't died in vain, that your light is still shining, that all of us, you and all of us that know about you and believe in you, will keep the torch alive in every way that we can. It is, I will not stop talking about them, not keeping their words and their hearts and their prayers alive. So that when people ask, it keeps them alive. They're still alive. And I feel their presence all the time. I know you do too. And I'm meeting more wonderful people that show up on my path because of them. And I don't think it's an accident. So I just say, you haven't died in vain. We are, we're going to keep the hope, your hearts and words alive.
Yes.
Everything that we do.
Oh, that's wonderful. And because of them, I met you. So yeah, just so wonderful. The last question, if you could give a message to the young people of today, what would it be?
I would just say, help us be a better world. Use everything that you are experiencing, because you are teachers and we are the students. I would say, I'm sorry for the devastation of a world that you're in right now. It hurts me terribly, from our planet, from the ecosystem, all that we, this poor, beautiful planet that we've been given, this beautiful Mother Earth, and what we have done to it, my generation and generations before. So I'd say first, I'm so sorry, and please help us make this a better world. Because I say to them, as much as I love trees, I say, you are the trees that we need to grow and thrive. You are the trees, and we are counting on you. So please don't give up hope, because we need you.
Yes, absolutely. Never give up hope. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Cara, for this one.
Thank you.
Session.
Thank you, darling.
It has been really, really
I love you.
inspiring. I love you too so much.